Caregiver Commander-in-Chief. The transition of power is a phrase with which most Americans have become familiar over the past several years. In the political world, the transition of power is the process where the newly elected president takes over for the current administration. In the corporate arena, the transition of power occurs when taking over the office of an employee who has been promoted, fired, or officially resigned to pursue other opportunities. The transition of power from my mother to me as her caregiver has been much less formal and much more painful for everyone concerned. As a child who has become a caregiver, my first inclination was to include my mother in all decisions. Big mistake. Including my mom in the grocery store process was a virtual nightmare. She compiled a shopping list which had no resemblance to what was actually needed. Consulting her about meal times or her menu selections led her to treating this as a private dining room in a fine restaurant with me as her waitress. Really big mistake. Left alone to schedule appointments, my mother always chooses the most inconvenient times. My position as caregiver affords me the ability to assume the responsibility of making all appointments moving forward. As a caregiver, I have multiple areas of responsibility, and I must ignore all control and denial issues, both mine and my mother's. As her caregiver, I am the newly appointed commander-in-chief of my mother's world. Therefore, I can no longer deny that I am in control. And unlike the positions of president and corporate executive, there is no job description or rules of engagement. The role of caregiver requires serious on-the-job training. I've often thought of the jobs of President of the United States, the Catholic Pope, and the Director of Marketing for a major automotive brand as some of the toughest jobs in the world. Little did I know that honor belongs to the position of caregiver. To quote a former United States president, I am the chief, caregiver in chief, that is.